This is Traveller's World, where every episode takes you to new destinations and uncovers incredible travel stories. I'm your host, David Barrett, and today we're joined by an extraordinary traveller who has embarked on some truly remarkable adventures.
This year I am the Galapagos Postman, and I've set out on the Galapagos Postman Challenge to take 50 letters and hand deliver them around the world to all 7 continents.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, perfect.
Let me just see for 1 second, please.
Microphone here is working as well.
Yeah. Good, we're all working.
Piece of cake.
Jon, tell us about the Galapagos Postal Challenge. I'm intrigued.
Yes, my name is Jonny Beardmore, and this year I am the Galapagos Postman, and I've set out on the Galapagos Postman Challenge to take 50 letters from an ancient postbox in the Galapagos Islands and hand deliver them around the world to all 7 continents in 12 months.
Jonny, what's been the inspiration for this challenge and your travels?
My father is the big inspiration. He passed away in October 22. He suffered from motor neurone or ALS for 8 years. And in that time I was unable to go away on any big trips. And so I knew once he passed I was going to do something big. I then came across the Galapagos Postbox, which gave me the idea. And so I'm out travelling the world trying to raise awareness and funds for motor neurone sufferers to highlight the fact that as a traveller, mobility and communication are such critical parts of our daily life, and that's what people with MND and ALS lose.
How can I donate?
I've got donation links in the bio of my Instagram account.
Great, so we'll put that on the video, so if anyone wants to donate and support your cause...
I'd be stoked if they would do that, yep. Anybody that can help out and just even learn a little bit about the issues in their own countries would be fantastic.
And we can track your travels.
Yes, I've got a tracking map that's got an interactive map. You can see all the places I've been, the forms of transport, links into the pictures and videos, and I'll share that with you as well.
How did you find this postbox? How did you stumble across?
I was in the Galapagos on holiday in January of 2023, was taken there on the cruise that we were there and stuck a letter in and took a couple back to London, delivered them by just knocking on the door, got such a buzz from it, I thought, I'm going to do this on a grander scale.
And so how many letters are you currently delivering within this challenge?
I'm targeting 50.
So you've picked up 50 letters from the Galapagos?
I've actually got a few more, but I've got 50 as my target goal for the year, and I've delivered 38, and I've got a couple more in the works, and then I'm not finishing until the 1st of March in London next year, and hopefully I'll be 50 or maybe a few more.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. With those letters, does it take you to all parts of the world, or are you just focusing on like US or Europe and delivering letters?
No, the goal is all 7 continents to visit across the planet. So I went through the 300 odd letters that were in the letterbox at the time, and geographically spread them out, and then just collected a whole bunch.
Who Who's writing these letters and putting them in a postbox?
Tourists. So it's an ancient tradition that started in 1793 is the earliest known, where the sailors and whalers would stick their mail into a whiskey barrel, and anybody sailing through the Galapagos heading in that direction would collect their mail and deliver it by hand. Now it's just tourists that are sailing through the Galapagos, and every day there's new people going to Post Office Bay on Isla Floreana, and they're literally just posting letters and then collecting a few and taking them back into the world.
And is it still a whiskey barrel?
Yep. It's not. I don't think it's the original whiskey barrel, but it is still a whiskey barrel.
Do you have time to do this?
Yeah, it's a 12-month project just to get out and explore the world and try and reconnect the world one letter at a time.
What response have you had do you knock on the door and say, I have a letter for you?
Yeah, I adhere to the tradition, so I don't make any effort to try and contact them or do any research on them before I arrive.
So there is a tradition of the way you present the post.
Well, in my mind, in 1793, there wasn't social media or any of those sorts of things. So, people would literally just rock up and knock on the door, like old school. So I'd just turn up, knock on the door and say, "G'day, my name's Jonny, I've brought you a letter."
Fantastic. What's the most memorable response you've had? Has anyone invited you in and offered you a cuppa?
Oh, mate, all of them have been special in their own way, unique in characters. I delivered a letter to a guy in Dublin called Paddy, live on Radio 1 radio, covering it as well. And we went out on the crack, and then 12 hours later I stumbled back in from a big night on the town.
What's the most memorable travel experience you've had in your life? Not necessarily just with your Galapagos Postal Challenge, but throughout all your travels. What's been the most memorable?
I think prior to this big adventure, the last one I did in 2013 was I drove across Asia. So I drove from London to Malaysia and back to London over 9.5 months.
Oh my goodness.
Exploring the history of the Great Game in the region, the battle for supremacy between Tsarist Russia and British India in the 1800s.
And what were the most memorable places that stick in your mind of that trip?
The place that has the most impact on me is Afghanistan. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be part of the first ever cricket team to tour Afghanistan and play the national team in 2009. And that, I fell in love with Afghanistan at that time, knew I wanted to go back, and a big part of that 2013 expedition was going back to Afghanistan to the walk-on corridor to play another game of cricket.
Where else have you played cricket that's amazing?
Well, New Zealand, England, played a bit Pakistan.
Fantastic. What's been the scariest moment where you may have packed peanuts in a book and you wish you had a gun?
Yes, driving at night in India. I mean, I've been into war zones, I've had security forces looking after you, never been any really scary moments, but driving at night in India, when after a 12-hour day of driving across, and the big thing is there's no street lighting that we're used to in the Western world. So you've got the chaos of India's roads at night with no light, apart from 3 sets of headlights coming to you on a one-lane road.
That is scary. What do your family say about this challenge that you're currently on? Well, they probably don't see you much now.
Well, I've been based in the UK. I'm originally from New Zealand, but I went to the UK in 1998 on a 2-year working holiday visa, and 25 years later, I'm still based there. So they're used to me out and exploring the world. My father, once before he passed, he sort of said, nothing you do ever surprises me anymore. So I take that as a bit of a badge of honour.
Are you from a family of travellers and adventurers, or are you like unique and a black sheep in the family?
No, I was inspired by my father used to travel around Asia for work. My auntie went overseas doing the 2-year working holiday visa that most New Zealanders do in the 80s, and so I'm sure that there's little seeds that were planted there, and most of my friends from university all went overseas and I just followed.
And for the foodies out there, what would be the destinations that offer the most delicious delights?
Oh, Crikey. I'm a massive dumpling fan, so wherever I go, I'm just trying to eat dumpling. I'm loving being back in Asia. The Asian cuisine is fantastic. But South America, if you like steak, they do it really well there. And the food around in every location has got its own sort of specialties.
And what advice would you give to anyone that wants to do the Galapagos Postal Challenge? Or is this just a challenge for you?
Well, I came up with it just as a way a good excuse to travel the world and meet interesting people. But I'd love it if other people decided to go down to the Galapagos and collect a bunch of letters and go off on their own adventures and share it. I'm trying to encourage people to hand deliver letters again, rather than write letters and send messages to people and meet in person rather than the internet that we hide behind these days.
Do you have a social media blog or a website? How can we follow your travels?
Sure, I'm on Instagram at Big O Adventures. There's also a Facebook page that gets content. If you follow me through that, message me, say hello. I'd love to hear from you.
Fantastic. Jonny, thanks so much for being with us today on Traveller's World. I've got a letter that I need delivering.
No problem.
And keep up the amazing journey that you're on this year. Well done.
Thanks very much for having me, David.
Thanks, Jonny. Cut.